All the frigid temperatures, the cold air, and everything else that goes along with it. It's minus 25 outside, but inside the Eastern Charlotte Recreation Complex, things are getting a little bit warmer. The red-hot Martello Buccaneers looking to come into this one and take 2 more points from the St. John Vitos. The Bucks red-hot this weekend. 4 of 6 possible points so far. They had a comeback win over the Valley Wildcats in Berwick on Friday night. A win last night over the St. John Vitos at the Q-Plex. And we're back, just about set for a rematch here in Blacks Harbor. And we're underway from center ice. Marquette will play this one up the far side rather. As Bellin goes back up into traffic. It's played down into the Buck zone. And now back from the line. The shot from Cormier was turned aside by Kelly into the corner. Now a chance out front. O'Toole tried to center one for Livingstone. Lines are shaken up this morning. Alexander Daigle out there with Carson O'Toole and Trip Livingstone to start things up with Cormier and Godin at the points. McClellan tried to poke one through to center. He's got a man away, but that's an offside call at the line as Marquette was working in a little bit ahead of the play. And we'll head back for the draw right outside the Vito zone, outside their bench. Quinn Timothy and Cameron Wilson exchanging pleasantries on the far side. This one's played off the draw. Bellier will chip one in. Off the glass, Dodge try to play one out of the zone. It's held in by Cooling. Cooling and Bellier in a battle in the corner. Probert awaiting that loose puck at the hash marks, but this one's poked back out to the front of the net by Cooling, and away goes Probert trying to work his way down the ice. And now behind the net, the Bucks trying to center one. That was Morrison that tried to send one out front. And now McQuaid. Couldn't get one outside the zone and finally scoots past that blue line as Wilson plays one cross ice. Connor Keating up here with the Bucks from the Valley U16 squad. And now a chance out front. Wilson tried to center one on the backhand, but that one didn't go. Now away for the Bucks is Sullivan. Couldn't get a stick on that one. The Vitos have a couple of affiliate players up with them from the Southern Rangers U15 squad. Aiden Black here, the cousin of Noah Cormier back there on the defense. And Chase Cook as well. Now battle down in that near side corner, picked up by Kraus. And now out to Talon Pearson. He tried to get one deep into the zone. Bailey sent one up the wall. Bailey opened the scoring for the Bucks on Friday night. And now chipped ahead. Black here played one up the wall. And Cutler took a bump there from Bailey, but backdoor they go. Callum Kelly has to sprawl on that one. And a great chance there for the Vitos early. Turns into a face-off. Off the draw, it's controlled down low. Bellin goes up the wall, but that's out of the reach of anybody in a black jersey. Onto the stick of McKinnon. He plays that one off into the slot. Morrison picked it up and ripped one on to Luca Riva. And he'll hold on. Your starting goaltenders tonight for the Bucks, Callum Kelly, and for the Vitos, Luca Riva. Both these guys got the nights off last night with Sam Millier and Brennan Fitzgerald taking the crease. Fitzgerald's first action since his stellar overtime performance at the Ice Jam. Now Morrison and Ahern on the draw. Ahern wins this one back, and McKinnon will backhand one up the wall. From the point, that took a bump on its way to the net. Theoropoulos sends one off the rebound. That's turned aside by Riva. And now Murphy at the point. That's blocked in front. Cook trying to chop at that one in the corner. Back from the point. Shot off the pad of Riva into the corner. Theoropoulos out front to Probert. And a glove save from Luca Riva. Point blank opportunity. And Riva there with the glove to snag that. Roach and Ahern on the draw. One back to Mumberket. He'll control off the draw, and it's sent in front through the slot. And now the Vitos work out. It's Cook playing one into the offensive zone. He'll lay a bump down there in the corner. And now Roach tried to play one down the ice. Riva out to play it. He'll backhand one around the wall. Whitaker chops at it. Now back behind the net. Sam Whitaker picks one back up. And Cook will chip one off the wall and out. Allowing the Vitos to work up the ice, but it's sent back in. Tennyson has to go back and clear the danger. But at the line, Keating tried to hold it in. Noah Cormier behind his own net, quickly plays one up to O'Toole, but a quick whistle, and this one will go to center ice. And now they'll go all the way down. A forced icing, I would assume, is the call here. Now off the draw, it's picked up by O'Toole down low. Drops it for the captain. Trip Livingstone up front to Dagla, and that one just rolled off his stick. Now down low, Grayson Shanks trying to poke out one. He moves it forward. And back up the wall they go. Back around Livingstone, trying to make a move and work its way to the front of the net. Now Livingstone out front to Dagla, that one high and wide. Back out in the slot. Another chance for Livingstone. He fanned on that one. And now back out come the Bucks. Picked up behind the net by Sutter McQuaid. Out through the slot. Helped out by Shanks. Moves it ahead for McQuaid. Drops for Trip Livingstone. In through the slot. Slap shot. Saved by Kelly. Turned and fired by McQuaid. And that one's wide of the net on the near side. And McQuaid holds the line. Plays it back down behind the net. Livingstone short side. That's up off the shoulder of Kelly. And now out to the line. Held in by the Vitos once again. Livingstone plays it back towards the net. Kelly will have to hold on as O'Toole was racing towards the net on that near side. 13:45 to go here in the first period. And we're scoreless. Like I said, a chilly one outside, chilly one inside here in Blacks Harbor. If we all exhaled at one moment, I think we could create a pretty big fog machine. This one sent cross ice by Curtin. And the Bucks able to break into the zone momentarily, but Wilson working one the other way for the Vitos. At center, Cooling, tips one on, the rebound sits there. Kelly able to get a pad on it, and they're jamming. And the whistle finally goes. Now back at the line, McKinnon, he'll fire one off the pad of Kelly into the corner. Cooling, tried to center one. This goes back to the point, kept in by Blackyer for a moment, but onto the stick of Bailey and out to center. McKinnon, as Mahoney working down that far side. Blackyer able to poke one up through the center. Now McKinnon with the net guard falling off. He's got to get off the ice. And now worked all the way around. Cameron Bailey plays one cross ice for Connor Keating and back to him. Keating, headman pass up into the bench, and good hands from Kason Cooling. He'll catch that, and we'll go back down into the Buck zone for the draw. Off the draw, Probert worked away. Cormier held him up at the line. And now Greeley picks it up, sends it up the near side. Murphy, able to poke it off his stick, and Theoropoulos keeps it in. Cormier up the wall. Cutler tried to poke one up. Gets onto the stick of Talon Pearson. Tried to headman one up the wall, but played back for Gunnar. Now Morrison works into the offensive zone. He's met there at the line by a bump from Talon Pearson. And now a chance in the slot, in the feet. And that one finally poked free. Cutler giving chase. Now Pearson. He went in to pick that one up. It was picked up by Tennyson Godin. Moved quickly up the ice, but the Bucks able to reset. McClellan, his shot well wide. Curtin unable to hold the line on the far side. It's Sutter McQuaid up the wall and chipped in at center. Cook giving chase. This one's worked back out to the red line. Sutter McQuaid dumps it in once again. Dodge able to hold it in, or hold the line momentarily, but this one's played into the Buck zone. And now back around the wall. Cohen Dodge for Mumbercat. He plays one back for Dodge. And now chipped ahead. Roach working in. He's got a man all alone, and that's turned aside by Riva. Now Cook works into the offensive zone. That shot wide of the net. Bounces off the end wall and around on the far side. Shauna Hearn lays a bump into his man before this one's played down into the Vitos zone. Blackyer tried to leave one there, fanned off his stick, and Morrison will pick it up for the Bucks. Back away for McKinnon. Cross ice for Livingstone. Livingstone rips one off the skate of Bailey, and that's wide of the net into the corner. O'Toole now with pressure. He'll backhand one towards the net. Now O'Toole down low. Him and Keating tied up. This one held at the line, but just squeaks out off the stick of Livingstone. And now a penalty coming. Looks like Keating's going to go. So Connor Keating to the box for 2 minutes. And the Valley Wild, or the St. John Vitos, excuse me, off to the power play. Off the draw, picked up by Livingstone, sent back to Cormier. Cormier McQuaid manning the points, he scores! Nine seconds into the man advantage, and Sutter McQuaid rips one upstairs on Callum Kelly. And the Vitos have taken the early lead here in Blacks Harbor. Off the draw, the Vitos will control. This one's sent in by Bellier, and now McQuaid, or Godin, excuse me, picks up a little double Godin as he takes down 2 Bucks. Cooling will play one back up the wall. And out front, Wilson, he's taken down. Another penalty coming here to the Bucks. And the Vitos back to the power play. Another trip, this one coming to Mahoney. So Whitaker, Diaglo, Toole with Wilson and McKinnon at the points now. Another shake-up on this Vitos man advantage. Off the draw, McKinnon, far side. He'll walk, drag, fire, and score! That's the Vitos team we're used to seeing. Max McKinnon, the league leading defenseman in points, gets another one, and that doubles the Vitos lead. Now off the draw, Black Air goes up the wall. That's out of play into the stands, and the face-off will come back down into the Vitos zone. So, as we talked about yesterday, the Vitos taking a little bit of a slump recently, dropping down into 4th place behind the Basin Armada, or tied with the Basin Armada, but thanks to the head-to-heads, the Armada take that 3rd spot, and with a win, the Vitos could just gain some more stability and comfortability up in the standings, up along the other teams in that top quartet. Now, Greeley works one down for Cutler, the man they call Donald. Now at center. Black Air goes up the wall. Pearson takes a bump to make a play, but that one will roll off his stick. And down for Bailey. Pearson met with a bump from Probert on the far side. And now down low, this is played up the wall, far side to Theropoulos. He'll take a bump from McQuaid. Cutler off the draw. He'll play it into the offensive zone. Keating goes cross ice. And another cross ice pass intercepted by McQuaid. He'll walk in, rip one. That's upstairs by Kelly, turned aside. And now Keating, goes back up the wall. And it's played into the far side corner. Cameron Bailey will pick it up here for the Bucks. Bailey up through center. And now that's sent on. Riva will hold on for the whistle. 6:45 to go here in the opening frame. So the Vitos looking for some more offense, shaking up the lines. 2 power plays and 2 goals from 2 defensemen have them up 2-0. And now Murphy gets one off the line, and the blocker of Riva there to hold or keep that one out. And now Ahern lays one off the glass. Back for Bellin. And Ahern picks one up, fired off the pad of Callum Kelly. And that'll be held on to for a face-off. Off the draw, played in by Cormier, and held on to once again by Kelly. Another face-off coming to his blocker side. Now Dodge up the wall to Probert. That one's knocked off the wall, kept in by Godin. Now Curtin behind his own net to Dodge. That one intercepted by Ahern down in the corner. Cook coming in to help. Chipped out, and this scoots past Tennyson Godin. Corralling that one on the far side is Cormier. He'll throw it up the wall. And now back for Cormier. He'll pass it off to Godin. And the return feed intended for Ahern, but he was heading off for a change, but Godin will work his way in. Shot turned aside by Kelly, and he'll hold on for the face-off. .5:28 to go here in this opening frame. 2-0 the Vitos lead. And if you told the Bucks they'd be playing in an igloo on Sunday morning, I don't think they would have believed you. As McKinnon plays it back to Blackier, he'll go up the wall. Blackier tried to find O'Toole on that stretch pass, but unable to find the tape, and that will go back down to the Vito zone for an icing call. Off the draw, it's played around the wall. Bailey will keep one in. And now behind the net, this one stuck on the mesh. Livingstone, or McKinnon, excuse me, picks it up and hands it back to the linesman. We'll get set for another draw. Daigle and Mahoney. Bailey from the point, that one blocked. Livingstone took a tumble on his way to the points. Now working in is McKinnon. Now to center the Bucks, trying to break in. Krause takes a bump from O'Toole on this near side. It's worked back for Daigle. Up the wall he goes to Livingstone. That one chipped into traffic off the body there of Mahoney, and now back out to center. Dodge will snap one into the offensive zone. Picked up behind the net by Blackhair. And now sent high cross ice. Murphy able to pick that one up. And it's sent back out to center. Livingstone's got this one. To the net goes O'Toole. And that one turned aside by Kelly. An offensive zone draw coming here for the Vitos. Now Murphy back around the wall. Probert will pick one up. Try and start from his own end. Murphy headmans one, and that's out of the reach of anybody in a black jersey, and we'll head back down 200 feet. Cooling and Morrison on the draw. Cooling tried to win one ahead through the legs of Morrison. It's taking a weird bounce off the end wall and out to center. Away go the Bucks through center. That's taken away as Theoropoulos slaps one back down towards the net. Morrison's on it. Now Probert out front to Theoropoulos. That one sent wide, and now a penalty coming. So 2 minutes for the head contact to Cameron Wilson. And now the face-off back down in the Vitos zone. The Bucks on the power play here for the first time this morning. This the first of 9 games on this Sunday on High Button Sports. Some more U16 AAA action at 1:15 from the Credit Union Center in Kingston as the Valley Wildcats welcome the Cape Breton Jets. Curtin now to Roach, back across, and a save by Riva on the back door. Now this one's cleared out of the zone, out of play, and a whistle will come. Riva bent over there for a second, gives his arm a shake. Might have stretched a little hard on that cross ice pass. Maybe a hyperextension or something. But he looks good to go as Ahern will work into the draw here with Mumberket. And Max McKinnon will send this one down the ice. This one taken away quickly by Greeley. And Kelly coming right out of his crease to make sure that one doesn't get any further than it should have. Now Probert through center. He's going to be met at center by Ahern. Ahern's glove goes flying. And he's back out to center. I'll tell you, if that was me, I would have grabbed my glove right away, or my fingies would have been tingling. Now up the wall. McQuaid lays a bump into Mumberket, but it's played ahead by Probert. McKinnon picks it up and sends one down the ice. 2.5 to go here in the opening frame. Kelly plays one up the half wall, almost intercepted by Greeley once again. And Wilson with 10 seconds to go, he'll get ready to hop out back onto the ice. The team's back to even strength. Wilson back onto the ice. And now Cook drives in wide. He's got Whitaker going to the net. That's poked away. But coming in is Trip Livingstone. Livingstone sent one towards the net. That was poked on by Whitaker. And Callum Kelly will hold on for the whistle. 1:50 to go in this opening frame. Connor Keating will play one up the wall. And that has the legs for an icing. So back down to the Buck zone we go. off the draw. It's played back out to center. Black Air goes cross to his cousin, Noah Cormier. And now Ahern tried to pick that one up at center. It's taken away. Mahoney pokes it back into the offensive zone. Murphy now sends one towards the net. Gloved by Riva. And a face-off will come. The last game here in Blacks Harbor for the Vitos. It was a win over the Monctonian champs, the Western Rebels. I thought one trip to Blacks Harbor would be enough for me this season. He said, no, let's do another. And this one sent down onto Kelly. Bailey will pick this one up. And out to center. That one misses the stick of Theropoulos, and that'll go the icing. Speaking of the Western Rebels, they put up 10 goals on their Sunday game last weekend, 10 goals yesterday against the Dartmouth Voyageurs. That's 20 goals in the past 2 games for the Rebels. They're red hot as of late. At the line, Shanks takes a bump from Probert, and Livingstone turns and fires. Callie had to make sure he had that one, pulls it back across the line. And the face-off will come back to his glove side. Played around the wall. Probert had that one poked off his stick by Shanks. And now pinned down there to the wall is O'Toole. Trying to work it free is Shanks. He does. Out front, that one just missed anybody with a Vitos jersey. And now sent towards the net. Livingstone in front trying to whack that rebound home off the point shot from Alexander Daigle. But with 17 to go, Kelly will hold on. Another face-off will come back down in the Buck zone to the blocker side of Kelly. Cooling on the draw. But Roach won that one back. Marquette up the wall will play one quickly into the offensive zone. But with 5 to go, it's back out to neutral ice. Curtin plays across ice, and that'll do it for the first period of play. So through 20 minutes, the St. John Vitos lead the Martello Buccaneers 2-0 here at the Eastern Charlotte Recreational Complex in Blacks Harbor, New Brunswick. We'll be back with the second period of play on High Button, so stay tuned. Well, get a refill on your coffee. Make sure it's nice and warm as we welcome you back inside the Eastern Charlotte Recreational Complex from Blacks Harbor, New Brunswick. It's the second period of play between the Martello Buccaneers and the St. John Vitos. The Vitos with 2 goals in that first period coming from a couple of defensemen. Sutter McQuaid opened the scoring. And then Max McKinnon, the league's leading points scorer by defenseman, able to get another one past Callum Kelly. So a 2-0 lead is what we have here in Blacks Harbor. And we're just about set for puck drop. Roach and O'Toole, or Daggle, excuse me, off the draw. And this one's worked up to center. A big bump thrown by Tennyson Godin to Lachlan Roach. And the Vitos bench explodes after that one. And Luca Riva able to pounce on that loose puck, controlling this one early here in the second period. Now off the draw, back to the point. Murphy unable to hold the line, so Cormier with time sends one up through center. Daggle on the far side. He'll work into the offensive zone. He's held up. Now O'Toole back down in the corner, chipped at by Murphy and sent to the far side. And Murphy now gets the return feed, playing it up the wall. To center, McClellan leaves it for Roach as he backhands one into the zone. And once again, Riva will cover that up for the face-off. Some pushing and shoving in front of the Vitos goal, but nothing really comes of that. And no surprise, Noah Cormier right in the middle. Cooling and Morrison on the draw. Cooling wins that one back, but the Bucks gain possession. Bailey sending one around the end wall. Picked up by Probert. And now McKinnon up the wall. Wilson leaves it for Bellier, who hits Cooling. Cooling on the far side, rips one through the crease. And going to the net was Max McKinnon. And now some more pushing and shoving down on that near side. Looks like there might be a call or two coming as McKinnon makes his way to the box. So McKinnon with a cross check, and Luke Bellier and Owen Gwynn Timothy, 2 each for the rough. So the Vitos will take the extra 2, and the Bucks will work back onto the man advantage. Seeing if they can break the ice and get one on the board for themselves there early. McKinnon and Bellier both talking over their respective calls in the box. Face off one by the Vitos. Shanks pins one to the wall. And that one off the stick. Morrison will collect and go back to the point. Roach spins one across to Murphy. He fires off the pad, and that's picked up by Pearson. But Morrison will pick up that loose puck. McClellan plays the puck back to the point. Off the stick of McQuaid in the corner, and he'll try and pin one to the wall and kill some time. Murphy to Curtin, and that shot goes wide of the net. Carter Curtin back for it. Luke really pressing offensively, and that one's poked back by Alex Cutler. Cross ice for Roach, and they'll rip this one into the offensive zone. 43 seconds left to go here on the man advantage for the Bucks. Murphy goes back to Bellin, and Roach will hit Bellin with the return feed. That shot high, and they score! McClellan on the back door, able to pot that loose puck and slide it past Luca Riva. It's a 2-1 game now as the Bucks get themselves on the board. So off the draw, it's played in. Godin around the wall, picked up by Dodge, far side in front for Kraus, and that one poked away once or twice by the stick of Luca Riva. Now Ahern trying to dump one into the offensive zone. That's well ahead of the red line, so an icing will come, and back to the Buck zone we go, or the V zone, excuse me, for that face-off. So Ahern on the draw with Mahoney facing off against him, and it's controlled by the Bucks off the draw, but able to get a stick on that was Whitaker. He moved it forward. Now back to Cormier. And now on the far side, it's played back into the Vitos zone. Kraus trying to work his way in. And now back to the point. It's kept in by Curtin, but he gets sent to the ice by Godin. Whitaker working in. Odd man rushes. Whitaker fires one towards the net. That's turned aside by Kelly. And with 15:59 to go here in the second, another faceoff will come, this time to the blocker side of the Bucks goaltender. Back to the point. That one turned aside. Curtin tried to pick it up and get off to the races, but that one's poked away from him. Livingstone gets that off the stick of Theoropoulos, and it's played back up the far side wall. Livingstone sends a bump into Theoropoulos, and a penalty will come now. So we'll see who takes that call. Now, I thought Livingstone was getting the call on that one, but it goes the other way. And Theoropoulos will take the 2-minute minor. So back to the power play, go the Vitos. They're 100% on the power play this morning. This one goes all the way back to Riva. He's got to quickly play that to McQuaid. And it's played back for Cooling. Jason Cooling trying to work into the offensive zone. He's stripped on his way in. And now back out to McQuaid. Down in deep. Curtin first to it. But Cormier with some good pressure down low. And now back to the point. Cormier tried to quickly snap one towards the net. Played back for Livingstone. Now Cooling at the top for Cormier. He goes across. And that shot blocked in front. Livingstone to Cooling. Drops it there for Cormier. They'll try and set up. Once again, Cooling with room. Works in down that near side. Back up top. Cormier slaps one. Tipped on. And the rebound just sits wide. And it's played down out of the crease. And another penalty coming now. We'll see who takes this one. It's going to be Bellier. So Bellier will head off to the box. 42 seconds of 4-on-4 will come. Now back to the point. Murphy's shot swallowed up by Riva, and he'll hold on. 4:17 left to go here in the 14:17, excuse me, left to go here in the second period. Krause and Wilson on the draw. Some open ice here for the skilled skaters. That one's played out to the line. And a long shot from the point for Murphy goes over the net. Picked up by Wilson up the wall to McKinnon. One of the best skaters out here, McKinnon. He's already got one this morning. Tried to play one back in front. That's played off a stick, and now Theoropoulos set to come back out of the box. Now out front, Wilson. Circling around the zone. Trying to find a lane. He's got a man back at the point. Out to center. He hits McKinnon and he'll send one back down into the corner. Wilson. He's got Pearson going to the net. Wilson works it back out front himself, and it's tied up in the skates. Pearson spins and fires. That's turned aside off the pad of Kelly. And now up the wall. Krause. Cross ice for Roach. Taken away by McKinnon, and he'll go back across to Grayson Shanks, who dumps it in. Shanks playing safely back at the red line as Krause tried to jump ahead of the play. This one will be an icing call, and we'll head back down to the Buck zone. Jacob Greeley and Lachlan Roach on the draw here. One by Greeley. But the Bucks will control in the near side corner. Working behind the net is Bellin. Up the wall for Krause. Long pass ahead. That's kicked off the skate of Sutter McQuaid. And Riva will hold on back in his own zone. .12:35 to go here in the second period. 14 seconds left on the penalty to Luc Bellier. Off the draw, back to the point. Murphy one-time drive. That one wide on the far side. Back to the point again. Curtin to Murphy. Murphy off the rip of his shin pad. That one played back down in front. Trying for that cross ice pass. So some confusion with the clock, but we've got it all figured out. 12:21 to go in the second period. Both teams back to even strength. And now a shot from the point from Murphy goes wide of the net. Bellin picks it up, plays it back down low, but into the slot it goes, and Cutler's got a chance away, but Murphy is going to beat him to it. Now a long pass ahead for Kraus. Working in, but back there is Blackhair. Mahoney into the corner. And that's chipped onto the stick of Kraus. Back down low for McKinnon. He picks up the wall. Chipped by Whitaker. Doesn't get far enough as Blackhair tried to center one. That was a dangerous one right in front. And Whitaker on that far side will clear it of danger. Ahern now out of the zone. He plays one up towards center. And now back at the red line. Ahern dumps it in. Cutler giving chase. Ahern now sends one towards the net. Kelly will snag that one. And with 11:24 to go, a face-off will come back down to the Buck zone to the blocker side of Callum Kelly. Connor Keating sends one down the ice. This one has the legs for the icing call, so that'll go. And that'll send us back down to the Buck zone. Some more hockey in St. John coming this afternoon back from the Q-Plex. 2 o'clock, the Moncton Rockets will take on the Fundy Kraken. You can catch that one right here on High Button Sports, along with the other 7 games after this one. 9 games in total on this Sunday. Cormier from the point, his shot blocked into the skates there, Probert, but a good job by Cormier to locate that puck and send it back down deep. Probert at the line, goes cross ice. Picked up by Godin, sent out to center. Loose puck picked up by Theropoulos, and he'll take a bump from Livingstone. Now back behind the net, Cormier battling that one, sent out front. The loose puck picked up by Livingstone, and he'll work away. He's got Dagler working in with him. And that's onside at the line, and now they call it off. Probert works up through neutral ice. He'll rip one. That's off a skate over the net and up the wall. O'Toole takes a bump. Picked up by Daggle. He'll work around the back of the net. Alexander Daggle up through center. Taken away, and now a cross ice pass. And now Livingstone down. Looks like he took a spear. So Livingstone will head back to the dressing room. And the referee not scared to toss a parent or two. He almost did it last time when the Western Rebels were in town. No call on the play. As Livingstone makes his way back to the room, hopefully he'll be back out on the ice soon for the Vitos. One more forward makes his way back out onto the ice. That's Daggle. And now Cooling will take the face off against Roach. Cooling making sure he centers up. Face off one back to the point by Roach. Across, shot blocked. Dagla able to get that one out. And out top it goes. Squeaks out of the zone. Bailey able to play it back in. Loose puck out front. Riva will hold on. Off the draw. Face off one by the Bucks. It's sent in. And that one just wide of that far side post off a shin pad. Deflected on its way in, but that one called offside. So the face off will come back outside the Vito zone. Shanks out through center, taken away and worked up for McClellan. He'll rip one wide of the net. Mumborquette down low, he takes a bump. And he'll play one back down low. That's gloved by Riva off the shot from Cohen Dodge. And with 8:50 to go, we'll get another face-off down in the V zone. Keeping an eye down on that Vito's dressing room door, to see if Trip Livingstone makes his way back out onto the ice for this second period. And now a shot from the point, blocked in front. And that breaks his stick, and that one sent wide on the rebound. Bellin puts his hands on his head. He can't believe it. Now out front, Wilson. Shot block, McKinnon at the point. Cross ice for Blackyer. He walks in. That's turned aside. And now McKinnon back cross ice. Cooling drops for Blackyer. Goes up the wall to Max McKinnon. And he looks cross ice for Cooling. And he sends Owen Quinn Timothy to the ice. And Max McKinnon has a word for him. And now out to center. McKinnon tied up. He's hobbling on that one leg. And luckily for Max McKinnon, that's turned offside. Bellier's got to go get a new stick. McKinnon's got to shake off that left leg. In the Vitos, battered and bruised here, staying up 2-1. And now the face-off will come back outside the Vito zone. Cutler, Greeley, and Cook. Godin and Cormier on the back end for the Vitos. It's played out to center. Cook chips one. And this played back from neutral ice down into the Vitos end. Godin tried to swipe at that one. Played up the wall. Greeley played it out to the slot. That shot turned wide into the corner. Now Sullivan taken down behind the net. Cormier gonna head off to the box. And back out to the ice comes Luc Bellier after grabbing a new twig. So the Bucks back to the power play. And we'll look for them to set Luke Murphy up for the one-timer. Murphy scored on a one-time drive in that semifinal at the Ice Jam against Notre Dame. It was a beauty through the 5-hole, and they'll try and set it up once again. That's been their look most of this morning on the power play. Curtin to Murphy. But we'll see if they can shake things up or go back the same way and get one to the back of the net. Roach down in deep. Pearson around the wall, heads up. And that one's up into the stands. No netting here in Blacks Harbor, so any puck over the glass is instantly a souvenir. Face-off coming back down to the glove side of Luca Rivas. 6:37 to go. Back to the point. Bellin. Bailey rips one. Glove save by Riva. Robert picks it up off the draw. Shanks gives it a bump, and that'll be another call. So a 5-on-3 coming here to for the Bucks. Shanks will get called for boarding on that one. Shanks hops into the wrong box. And now the Bucks with some room out there to move this puck around, but it's quickly poked out of the zone by Cameron Wilson. He's got a pressure down low. And now Probert goes back for Bailey. Up through center, Bailey hits Bellin. Back out into the neutral ice. Or into the slot, rather, and it's picked up back at the point by Bailey. To Probert. He winds, fires off a skate of Max McKinnon, and a good block in front. Now up top, that one turned aside. Wilson trying to break down that far side. He's 1-on-3. And now with time, Jonathan Probert will work back into the offensive zone. Trying to cut through center. That one's played into the corner. And Cormier getting ready to jump back out onto the ice. Cormier out of the box, right back into the defensive zone as this one fires. Turned aside on its way to the net. Doesn't get through. And now a whistle will come. Noah Cormier right out of the box, right into the scrum. He'll take a number and draw them out of the crease. Still no sign of Trip Livingstone down in that V's dressing room. Assistant coach coming back out of the room. Now with 48 seconds to go on the 5-on-4. The Bucks trying to work in again. It's Roach. Back to the point. To Curtin. Back down to Roach. Now Curtin up top to Roach. Working in on the half wall. Rips one. That's up top. And Luke Murphy's drive is blocked. Now Cooling had that stick worked out of his hands. Picks it back up at the top of the zone. Cormier able to kick one further ahead. Cormier will gather one up, set it down the ice. And with 10 seconds to go, Shanks about ready to get back onto the ice. Now Shanks intercepts that one right out of the box. And now O'Toole corrals Shanks, trying to grab this one. Just poked off his stick by McClellan. He'll give him a bump. Now Blackhair down low. This one escapes the line. Shanks able to move that one forward. Now Blackhair looking cross ice up for O'Toole. He makes a move, but that one just poked off his stick. Dag picks up the loose puck. Now O'Toole rips one. That's between the legs of Bailey, sent back out front to the slot. Nobody able to pick it up as McClellan works it forward. And that one will go into the stands on the far side and poked back out to center. Will go for the face-off. As the Vitos skipper makes his way back onto the ice, Trip Livingston will head back to the bench after taking a stick up high. Now out to center, McKinnon picks it back up, looks for Daigle. He'll rip one, blocker saved by Kelly. Now around the net. Played up the wall, Sullivan let it go. Cook drops it for Blackhair. He'll rip one from the point. That's turned aside, and a glove save from Kelly will bring us another face-off with 3:06 to go. One back in the corner. Murphy plays it up the wall for Theoropoulos, but he's pinned down there by O'Toole to the far side. Kept in by McKinnon. He'll spin looking for Blackhair, but playing it safe. Blackhair back outside the blue line, so the Bucks with a chance to work into the offensive zone. Morrison stops for a second. And now back into the corner. On the far side, Daigle runs into Theoropoulos, a couple of 11s saying hello on the far side. That's slapped on by Bellin, and now another penalty coming here to the Vitos. Out in the slot, that's picked up. And a charging call coming now to Alexander Daigle. So Daigle will sit for 2 or less as the Vitos control off the draw. That one's sent wide out the zone. Pearson shot. Turned aside by Kelly as he came out to play this one. Kelly, a very active goaltender when the puck comes down near his crease. Murphy walks in. He's pinched by McQuaid, and that's sent down the ice once again out to center. Curtin will corral. Now back down for Kelly. Pearson first to him, so he'll be forced to hold on for a face-off. 1:13 to go in the penalty to Daigle. And 1:27 to go here in the middle period. Off the draw. Bailey trying to work his way to center. He finds Probert. Cross ice for Bellin. He'll walk in, try to set up. And that one escapes his own once again. Bailey with it. He'll have to look for an option. He goes up to Krause. Krause has got Cormier turning and burning right with him. Now Probert looking to set up late here in this second period. Bellin from the point. blocked in front. Nobody really sure where it went. It goes up, lands back to the right side of Riva, and we'll hold on for another draw. Now back to the point. Bellin collects. Cross ice for Bailey. Looking for an option. He goes back to Bellin. Probert and Bellin play pitch and catch. Probert walks out to the top of the zone. Back to Bellin. His shot off the skates of a circling Bailey. And that one out of the zone. 10 seconds to go on the penalty to Daigle. Now Bailey working in, drops for Krause down low. That one through the skates. Mumberket trying to corral that or collect that one up on the far side. And now with 5 to go, it's played down low. And loose puck at the side of the net, but that'll do it for the second period of play. Only one goal this period, but lots of extracurriculars, lots of power play opportunities for the Bucks. But at the end of 2, the St. John Vitos lead the Martello Buccaneers 2-1 here from the Eastern Charlotte Recreational Complex in Blacks Harbor. We'll be right back on High Button Sports for the third period, so stay tuned. 20 miles, 20 smiles, or so they say. It's the third period between the Martello Buccaneers and the St. John Vitos here from Blacks Harbor, New Brunswick. Just after congregating up in the warm room with the parents of either squad, it's safe to say that this final period will be a good one, to say the least. It's the rematch between the Bucks and the Vitos lead them 2-1 through 2 periods of play, and the third is underway now. Off the draw, that one's played up into the bench, so a whistle will come. And the face-off right back outside the Vito zone. Now a chance away for O'Toole. Working down to the back door is Dag. O'Toole working in. Livingstone trying to chop that one on the backhand, but he just couldn't get a stick on it. The goals today coming from Sutter McQuaid and Max McKinnon, and Isaac McClellan with the lone goal for the Bucks. Livingstone into the offensive zone. Nice to see Livingstone back out onto the ice. He missed the majority of that second period after taking a high stick up into the neck, high chest area. Now Dag trying to work one into the offensive zone. Livingstone at the top of the circles. And that one's ripped on, turned aside by Kelly. And another face-off will come to his glove side. Face-off, one picked up by Wilson, sent back to the point to Shanks, and he floats one just wide of the net. And now out to center. Shanks going to pick it up on the far side. He'll work in. He's got a lane. Grayson Shanks drives in, and that one's turned aside by Kelly. Good job by Shanks to stop right at the top of the crease in case the rebound popped out. Shanks and McQuaid making plans off this face-off draw. Squeaks back up the far side. Didn't get back far enough for Grayson Shanks. It's played down for Bellier. And now behind the net, Wilson tried to center one out front. That's off the stick of Case and Cooling. And back out to center. Cooling will corral. Stops up far side to Bellier. Luke Bellier walks in. And that's up off the shoulder of Callum Kelly. Now down low, Bellier working in there with a battle with Connor Keating. As Wilson throws one towards the net. McQuaid on the near side will pick one up, throw it back far side. And Shanks will safely play this one back out at center across to McQuaid. Into Wilson. Tried to drag this one, but that one didn't go. It's Wilson who intercepts at center and plays it back into his own zone. Shanks up the wall for Wilson. Probert now intercepts and around the wall. McQuaid plays it back to the point, and that is held on to by Luca Riva for the face-off. So off the draw, this one's played in behind the net. Probert tried to center one. This goes past the stick of Murphy all the way down the ice. And that'll be an icing call on the play. So with 17:07 left to go, we'll work back down into the Vito zone. Off the draw, picked up by Murphy. Blocked in front by Greeley, and he's feeling that one. Right above where the shin pad ends and the pant leg begins. Right off the kneecap. And Greeley will head off to the bench. He's replaced there by Talon Pearson. Now Blackhair up the wall, onto the stick of Max McKinnon. McKinnon, cross ice, looking for Pearson. To the front of the net. Cutler tried to drive in. Just couldn't get that one to go. Now on the far side, McKinnon picks it up, works through center. Max McKinnon over the line, tried to drive one in. Ahern giving chase as well as Pearson down low. And Ahern drives one on. It's up over Kelly and into the corner. Now in the far side, it's a puck battle that's picked up by Pearson, sent out front to the slot. McKinnon off the blocker or the knob of the stick and into the netting, so face-off will come back down to the Buck zone. Great chance for the league's leading point-scoring defenseman to get his team back up by 2. But it's turned aside by Callum Kelly. Now the Bucks working out offensively, down low, into the corner. Godin let that one go. It squeaks out front. And now Whitaker plays one up into the offensive zone. He's held up at the line. Now Dodge rims one around the wall, gets back to Godin. He'll send one high. That's turned aside by Kelly and flipped out of the zone. Godin's got to get back and play one quickly up the near side. Cook, will put one back up into traffic, and it's picked up by Sullivan. Tried to center one. Couldn't get it past a couple of sticks as Mahoney works in now. Cormier trying to find an option. He'll float to center and out of the reach of Cook as it rolls back down for Carter Curtin. Behind his own net, Curtin taken down, no penalty on the call. As Quinn Timothy works in, he's taken down. And now on the near side, Shanks trying to work his way up the ice. Plays it into the offensive zone. He'll switch. And Shanks picks it up at center, plays it across to McQuaid. He'll send a high floater in just past the shoulder of Kelly. O'Toole try to pick one up and drag it towards the slot. Back behind the net, he's got it. Looking for an option out front. Tried to find the stick of Daigle. And McQuaid talking down low with Shanks. Shanks plays it around the backside of the net. Off the back of the 4x6. And out to the slot now. Livingstone with O'Toole. Makes a move. O'Toole to the front of the net. Turned aside by Kelly. Now Murphy breaking in. A shot goes wide from Gwyn Timothy. Now a chance away for the Vitos. McKinnon working up 4-on-2. McKinnon sends one to the net. Turned aside by Kelly, and he'll hold on for another face-off with 13:27 left to go here in the third period. Now back at the point, Blackhair able to keep one in momentarily, but poked ahead by Roach. And Mumberket grabs it at center, sends it in. Blackhair will send one up the wall. And now back to the point. Shot goes in. Arriva able to get a piece of it, but he'll knock that net off its moorings, do a couple spins in the crease, and will hold on for the face-off. Cooling and Roach on the draw. Played back to the point. Off the pad of Riva. And this one escapes his zone. McKinnon on the far side. Little bump on the numbers. He'll give it right back. Now Keating. In the defensive zone. Goes D to D to Curtin. He'll lift a high floater out to center ice, and that one will be an icing call. Charge to the Bucks. So back down into the Bucks zone we go. With 12 and a half left to go in this final frame. Cooling and Roach on the draw once again. And now this one played off the shin pad of the referee. Even with the shin pad, you know that stings on a morning like this. And now a chance away for Roach, or McClellan, excuse me. Tried to get off to the races, but Godin intercepted, but unable to play it outside the blue line, so it stays in until Cooling flips it to center. Murphy up the wall, chip back in for Godin. He's pressured down low, and up it goes for Bellier. He's got it lost in his feet. So does Murphy. And Murphy played one back up the wall. Cormier chops at it. It escapes the playing surface up into the stands, and we'll get a face-off back down in the Vitos zone. Now down low, Cormier had his stick knocked out of his hands, but it's played back out to neutral ice. Godin hits Cormier, gets the return feed. Up the wall he goes for Pearson. Unable to hold the line was Greeley. And we'll get a face-off right in front of us, outside the Bucks blue line. Face off, one back to the point, cross ice quickly for Grayson Shanks. They'll send one on, rebound, and two saves from Kelly. What a save from Callum Kelly. 2 rebounds back to back. Game saving. But a penalty coming here to Jonathan Probert. We'll await the official call. So only 2 minutes for Probert. The Bucks will have to kill this off if they want to keep things rolling in the right direction. It'll be Mahoney facing off against Whitaker. Now back to the point. Unable to hold the line was Wilson. Back out to play it is Riva. McKinnon now on the near side. He'll spin back a couple of times, play one back for Whitaker, and he'll hit Wilson. Trying to break out here are the Vitos on the man advantage. Wilson having some trouble down there in the corner. He's helped out by McKinnon. O'Toole sitting high at the far blue line. Wilson works it out, trying to gain the zone, and that one worked in offside at the line. So back out comes the top unit for the Vitos, looking a little bit normal, or more normal as it was the first half of the season. Livingstone, Cooling, and Bellier out there with Cormier and McQuaid at the points. As Cormier works it in around the end wall, trying to spin one around the wall, but these dasher boards a little bit more stiff than the ones at the Q-Plex. Cooling on the half wall, tried to open up a lane and center one through, but Bailey will backhand one the length of the ice. A long pass up for Livingstone off his stick, and that'll be an icing call. Couldn't control it at the blue line. So back down to the Vito zone we go. 32 seconds on the man advantage, and they'll have to get something going quick. Same five out here for the Vitos with Roach, McClellan, Dodge, and Curtin for the Bucks. Cooling. Cross ice for Cormier. Bellier tried to hit Livingstone, but it's sent down the ice. Riva will have to come out to play this one. Quickly back into traffic. He's got to make his way back to his crease. Now Cooling with 5 seconds to go here on the man advantage. Poked off the stick by Roach, and now up for Cooling. He sends one into the zone. Livingstone gives chase. That one's poked onto the net of Kelly, and he'll be forced to hold on for the face-off with 9:02 to go in this final stanza. Back to the point, shot from Shanks. Off the pad of Kelly. Shanks checking to see if the blades still all collected. And now out to center. Chance away for Cook. Chase Cook stops up, trying to find someone on the back door. But no one home as this one's worked back down by Kraus. He's sent into the wall by Godin. And now up the wall. Cook trying to chip it again. Pearson now into the offensive zone. That one's onside. Pearson takes a bump down in the corner. Murphy now working up, sends one out to center to Mahoney. Now Shanks from his own end with speed, evades the pressure and just plays it a little bit too far out to center. Godin tried to poke at that one a couple of times, just missed, and now back down in the far side corner. Cutler chips at it, and Whitaker plays it out to center. Dodge now for the Bucks will send this one in. Now Bailey with Whitaker giving chase. Whitaker almost able to strip him, but the Bucks able to find Probert with that pass. Probert working into the offensive zone. Throws one back out to center, and now Cutler and Whitaker work in. Whitaker drops, shot, and they score! Put her home, Donnie. Alex Cutler puts the Vitos up 3-1 with a rebound off the pad of Kelly. And that has the Vitos back up by 2 with 7:02 to go here in the third. After last night's game at the Q-Plex, you knew this one was going to be a tight one. Came down to the final moments last night, a power play goal from Kraus was the difference maker late. And now a rebound off the pad, put home by Alex Cutler. Has the Vitos right where they want to be as McKinnon works into the zone. Down low for Wilson. He spins again. Bellier tried to center one. That one's off the stick of the intended target. Cooling. And back down into his own zone. Blackyer was sent down by a much larger Kraus. Or Roach, excuse me. And now Roach back at the point. Sends one through, tipped wide. And now Murphy picks it back up, sending one out front. That one missed the stick of McClellan. Walking in on the back door as it's flipped down the ice. Had the legs for the ice, so that'll go, and the Vitos will have to figure out, or the referees will have to figure out which Vitos will be staying on the ice. Face off to the blocker side of Luca Riva. He'll get a bump there from Kaysen Cooling as he gets set to face off against Morrison. Cooling able to knock this one forward, but Probert picks it up, sends it back to the point. Saved by Riva with the pad. And now up the wall. Murphy walks back in, and another save by Riva. Now back from the point, Murphy sends one through, and that glove hand of Luca Riva has been mighty fine all morning. Nothing getting past him on the glove side. Daigle and Morrison. Morrison wins the draw back, but Livingstone collects, sends it to the middle to O'Toole. He's got a couple of bucks all over him, working back. And now Shanks plays it back to Livingstone at center before he backhands one into the zone. Around the net, Murphy in his own end. Tries the long stretch pass. That's right on to Riva, and Shanks will play it in his own corner. Out front for Theoropoulos. That one just played under the skate. Now back out to center for Cohen Dodge. That one taken away. Livingstone works into the offensive zone. He'll run into Bailey. And they'll say hello. As this long pass gets back to Grayson Shanks. He'll play it off the wall and up through center. High stick called, but negated as O'Toole walks into the backhand. Turned aside by Kelly. Cameron Bailey up the far side. Excuse me, that's Jack Kraus. Now back to Sullivan. Tries to find a man. That's Curtin at the point. Throws one backdoor. Dag. Tried to send one out to center. It gets onto the stick of Cormier. He rips one off the wall. No icing called. You remember back to Friday night, the Bucks were able to send one from the point from Murphy and hit a man backdoor to tip one home and take the 3-2 lead in Berwick. We'll see if they can pull off a similar play here today. Pearson in the corner. That one rolled off his stick, goes back to Curtin at the point. With just over 3 1/4 to go, it hops onto the stick of Noah Cormier. He's got Collar flying far side. He elects to play this one right down onto Kelly. He'll take a snow shower from Alex Culler, the latest goal scorer. And he'll hold on for the face-off. 3:06 to go in this final period. Now back at the point, Black Hair will grab this one, play it towards the net, but it's grabbed by a Buck, sent back the other way, on to Riva, and he'll hold on. Now some more pushing and shoving, a linesman down in front of the net. So now the face-off coming back to the glove side of Riva after a timeout called by the Bucks. So we'll be right back here on High Button after a short break. Back down into the Vitos zone we go. 2:53 left on the clock. Greeley and Roach will face off. Net empty as Kelly makes his way to the bench. He gets a tap from Fitzgerald on the bench. And now McKinnon floats one out to center. That'll go wide of the net. And Murphy will get back, touch up for the icing. So we'll head back down to the Vitos zone. .245 left on the clock. Greeley and Roach once again on the draw. Now back to the point. Murphy sends one through off the glove and just wide of the net. Now into the corner, McClellan. He'll play one back around for Morrison. Now played out front. This one flipped down the ice. And that'll hit the post. Roche goes back for it, plays it to Murphy. And the Bucks look to stretch the ice. Morrison tried to go backdoor. McClellan was flying. This one sent back out to the slot. Murphy at the point, couldn't corral. It's in the skates, and that'll fly back out to center. He goes cross ice. For Kraus, working in, met there with a hip check from McKinnon. Now out front, Pearson backhands one down the ice once again, and that'll go. But the icing beat out by Cameron Wilson. He makes his way to the net. He's sent down to the wall behind the net. Now a penalty coming to Wilson. Out front, shipped out by Cooling. He'll touch up. So Wilson to the box for head contact. So 2 minutes on the board. 1:27 left on the clock in regulation. 6-on-4 for the Bucks. And this one escapes the zone, cooling, giving chase on Murphy. Played cross ice for Roach. Back across for Kraus, walking into the offensive zone. Across for Roach, back up top for Murphy. He'll wind fire off the skate of Riva. Backdoor, spun in front, and that one turned back around the net. Riva has it in front of him. He's got to get the blocker down and cover up. Some more extracurriculars and some conversation at the top of the Vitos crease. And now the face-off will escape the zone and move back out towards center. 58 seconds left to go in regulation. 1:30 on the penalty to Wilson. Probert setting up cross ice. Murphy sends it in off the shin pad of Morrison. And that's out of play into the stands. So back down into the Vito zone will go for the face-off. Now Murphy back from the point. The bench is yelling shoot, and that one put wide of the net. Went back to the point. Murphy trying to keep it in. Livingstone with a chance to ice it, and he will. Back in the win column for the St. John Vitos. And they're feeling good about that one. Noah Cormier with the smile on his face. .36 seconds left to go, and barring a miracle, the Vitos will collect the 2 points once again from Blacks Harbor. And now Ahern working in, 25 to go. He's got Cook with him, finds Cook back door, and Kelly able to hold on. .20 seconds to go here in the final frame. A 4-1 lead now for the Vitos. Now Godin back from the point. His shot off the blocker of Kelly. Back for Bellin. And now Bailey. Up the wall they go. Sullivan tried to play one into the offensive zone. Ahern played one back. And that'll do it. Undefeated in Blacks Harbor this season are the St. John Vitos. It's a 4-1 final over the Martello Buccaneers. My name is Dayton Camo for High Button Sports, saying thank you for tuning into this one on a cold morning across the Maritimes. Some weather coming later this afternoon. Safe travels, I wish, to the Buccaneers and their parents as they make their way back to the Ocean Playground. But for now, from Blacks Harbor, Dayton Camo saying thank you for tuning in, and we'll catch you in the next one.